falling in love. I don't care about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about your soft skin, cause we're still sleeping in my head. I don't care about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about your soft skin, cause we're still sleeping in my head.
Hey, hello, I'm JulieJo. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. You can hit the like button if you enjoy this video. You can hit the subscribe button if you like videos about scams, anti-multi-level marketing, cults, religious cults. I like to delve into those, show the manipulation, talk education, logical fallacy, and you can hit the bell button if you want to get notified when I post. If you're not new here, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're back. Today we're going to look at a training video from a company I was able to sneak into the Zoom. Thank you to the person that sent it to me. You might know this company if you watched my videos before. The company is Limelife by Alonzo. I have covered their old compensation plan and their new compensation plan. They are a multi-level marketing company that sells makeup and skincare. I think they sell skincare. I'm not completely sure, but I know they sell makeup. This is the MLM that Brooke Ashley Banks used to be in. Before we get started, you can look in the description and see my Instagram, TikTok, my affiliate links, all of that stuff if you want to take a look at it. And you can see where to send me things. So you are welcome to send me things in my email, whether it's getting it on a Zoom, a training video that you want me to watch, a link to something you want me to see, or top fails. And I'm also going to start doing MLM horror story videos. So if you have one of those and you would like me to share it, I can keep you anonymous and I can, obviously like mark out names and whatnot. I would be happy to do that for you. So send me those in my email. It is IamJulieJo@gmail.com, and you can find that again in my description. I am fresh out of the shower and we're going to get started. I was so excited to sneak into this Zoom. Like, it had been a while since I'd done that, and Limelife, I have a background with them, not in MLM, but as I've been anti-MLM. So, you know what? Let's get started.
Such a cool experience that I didn't expect.
I will say that you will hear some like static and scratching from her. So when the actual leader of the group comes on and does the training, that should be gone, I hope.
I know we're a big deal. Let's be real. Like, we know we're a big deal, but seeing us next to Smashbox, we were right next to Smashbox and Makeup Forever and these huge brands that I've looked after forever, like is it Krylon, who our concealer's made after. They were behind our booth. Our booth kept getting a million compliments because it was so beautiful. You guys, I had a lady come up to me and tell me she's this person that connects brands to get into Nordstrom and stuff.
I also want to apologize that this meeting is being live streamed. That will go away, I promise. I realized after a few minutes it's about to go away, so you can just kind of ignore that. Sorry.
She's like, your branding and your packaging, would you guys ever be interested in being in Nordstrom? And we're like, no, we're not. Actually, we like being very much so beauty guide based, but what a compliment that is, you see Limelife by Alonzo products and our packaging and our branding, and you think Nordstrom?
I would bet money that is not the whole situation, and I would bet money it didn't go like that. I honestly don't believe it. Someone actually did that. Yeah, I would rather be a Nordstrom than an MLM. However, the reason people like to make MLMs instead of put them in stores is because you have customers automatically. The biggest customers in an MLM are people who like to call themselves boss babes. They're the consultants. That is their biggest customer.
That was just eye-opening to me. And we know Kat Aragon. She's an amazing celebrity makeup artist, but we know her as our friend, as our mentor here in Limelife, as just an amazing human. And I got to see the celebrity side of her this weekend, and that was a whole new world for me because, she's a really, really big deal in the makeup industry. Before you see how people respond to her in the makeup industry, you're like, yeah, pro makeup artist, that's so awesome. No, she's the real deal. And it was just so humbling to know we are where we're supposed to be. We are different, and it's a beautiful thing. It was just incredible, and it it opened my mind to so much more possibilities than I've even had ever before. And
I do want to remind you, please leave your commentary below if you're listening to this and you think of something like, oh, what the, like a little note in your head or like pointing out something in your head. I recommend writing it in the comments. I would love to see it. Now, I don't, hit every single commentary moment because it can be a lot, but I know that with your help, we can cover the entire video and hopefully get the best commentary out of it. So feel free to leave your own commentary on their video below.
I'm pretty like, there's no limit to the possibilities. And I was just like, wow, we are playing it way too small. It's time to step it up because we have the gold mine right here. There wasn't just not another direct sales company in the makeup show. There wasn't a single retail opportunity for anybody there. And we were having cosmetology and makeup artists that are in school, academies in LA, and they're like dirt broke, telling me how much they want to make money, telling me, that they have to spend all this money to invest into their kit, don't even have any clients yet, but they're going to, and like just so hopeful and passionate and creative. And it was a space that we belonged, and just totally reassured me and validated everything we're doing here and everything we're about to do. So had to share that with you guys.
I think that was one of the big goals of them going to this. I don't know. They had like a booth, it was nothing crazy. I think that's one of the goals of them going to this. They wanted, and this is their goal for practically everything that they do, to recruit people. Always. That's how all multi-level marketing companies are. They also like to not call themselves multi-level marketing companies. So it could be social selling, network marketing, social retail. If they can build a downline, and make money on their downline, it's multi-levels, right? So it's multi-level marketing. It's very simple. And a lot of people like to try to say, I'm not multi-level marketing, I'm social selling. Yeah, you can be two things at once. Social selling is a pretty way to say multi-level marketing, really.
Thanks. I'm glad you shared that because I've been stalking y'all being at the makeup show.
Cool.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about low belief behaviors and high belief behaviors. Okay. And I hope that you have some epiphany moments because this is not just like a typical mindset training. As I've gotten more and more and more into success coaching, I truly, it's not just what I believe, it's proven. Like your current results in your business are 100% the results of your thoughts about your business, about your beliefs about your business.
She said the current results of your business, what you're going through, is because of your thoughts. I like to call bullshit. For 2000, Alex. Thank you. Yeah, no, I call BS straight up. That's not how that works. It's not what you're thinking. Honestly, in MLMs, it's also not if you work the business or not. Because when you're working, you're not actually getting paid to work. You're not getting paid hourly. You get paid based on commission. A very small amount, though. The biggest payment comes from your downline, which is why I like to say multi-level marketings are also pyramid schemes. Because if you make the most money from your downline, then your goal and the best way to make any money is to recruit. That's an issue. And we know that in multi-level marketing companies, the top 1-2% are the people who really make money. Everyone else might either profit a little bit, but the majority don't profit at all.
Brain determines literally all of your outcomes, everything. So what we're going to learn tonight is basically the premise of if I had a book that I could just hand you that was literally like, here's the XYZ of how to be successful in your network marketing business. Like, this is everything. This is the golden ticket. And I handed it to you. If you do not have your beliefs and your mindsets right, then this means nothing. Like, it's 100% about the mindset. And so we're going to go into what low belief behaviors are, what high belief behaviors are, and we're going to actually do an activity where I want you to dig into what yours look like, because honestly, most of us operate in these in the subconscious level. We have no idea that we're there. And then we're like thinking we're doing all of the things, and we're wondering why our sales are low, why we don't have sales, why we can't build a team. Like, we're stuck wondering why there's no results. And we don't even realize that it's because we're showing up from a low belief place. So I want you to, if you don't have a pen and paper, you don't need it right now, but when we get to the activity, I'm going to ask you to do some brainstorming, and I want you to write it down. So you may want to grab a pen and paper, grab a notebook. And also, if your teens are not on tonight, direct them to the replay of this, because I think this is a really, really powerful tool. So
she's talking about your sales are down and whatnot, that it's coming from a low belief place. That's what they like to say. They like to say that it's your fault that you're not doing well, when in reality, that's how multi-level marketing works. The majority of people can't be successful for the top 1% to 2% to make money. And I know they like to make the argument of, well, the only way we get to the top is by others being successful. Not necessarily, no. Let's talk about it. Let's say you have 1,000 people in your downline, and those 1,000 people buy $100 worth of products every month. 100 times 100? That's how much money your downline's going to bring in. Imagine you having 3 people who are right below you. If you're at the top of the company, you have a couple people who are right below you. That's all you need. You need 2, 3 people to be successful, and the thousands of others don't have to be. That's the best way to make money in MLMs. But the issue with that is that, one, you're using people for money, right? Like, you're using them saying stuff like, it's your fault, it's low belief if you're not being successful. You also say stuff like, this could fulfill your dreams, like anyone can do this. Wrong. That's not true, because that's not how the business model was made. There's plenty of other things I can say, but honestly, I want to keep watching. So I would love to hear some thoughts about what you think when they talk about low belief. What was your experience? Did you work hard? Which the majority of people, they do. Like, if they want to build a business in MLMs, they do put in effort. But the issue is, they can work as hard as they want and not see anything from it and not get paid for their work. People are okay. These people brainwash them into thinking that it's okay to not get paid for work. That's not okay. And the fact of the matter is, they also, like she's doing, like I mentioned earlier, like to make them think it's their fault if they are not hitting sales they're supposed to hit, if they're not being successful. That's not true. You can't look me straight in the eye and tell me that 99% of people in MLMs don't work hard. That is ridiculous and false.
Honestly, so I have a coaching program that I've just started up, and this is a small snippet of something that we do inside of there. So I'm bringing you some really high value with this. All right, I'm going to take it to my board that I have behind me, or my flip chart. So you may want to make me big if you don't. Let me see if I can do that on my view. That way the people who watch the replay, yeah, I'm going to put it on speaker. Even though my speaker shows Kindle, does my speaker show, do y'all see Kindle or do y'all see me big? Maybe it's just on my computer. Okay, it was just my computer then. Okay, so we're going to go into, first I want you to understand, we have 3 components in social selling for you to be successful. There's the how and there's the what. Making sure I'm on here. The how and the what. This is like all of like what the strategies that we're using, how we're showing up, what we're doing, like using reels, stories, all of those things. What is also how you're showing up in those. But there's one main component that if we do not have down, it really affects the way that our business is run. Okay, and that's the why. Oftentimes when we don't have results in our business, we're like, okay, tell me how do I recruit? How do I do that? What do I need to do? Tell me what and how do I need to do? But what we really need to address is the why. And when we talk about the why, we're talking about if you don't have a result that you want. And I'm going to stick to, I have a lot of examples in this one of like low or no sales, but you could apply it to any like non-result in your business. But let's talk about low or no sales, because I'm going to dive into that in a minute as an example. But if I'm like, okay, I have low or no sales, I start showing up and going, okay, tell me the how and the what. How do I get there? What do I need to do? But I don't realize that it's the why. Why do I have low or no sales? Okay, why am I not seeing the results? And it's probably the way that I'm showing up. So today we're actually going to dig into that to help you identify like where you're showing up with low belief behaviors. So we're going to talk about the 2 types of behaviors. I'm going to flip this to the next thing.
I'm sorry about the sound. I really don't think it's my computer, like when I was recording it. I don't know. I want to apologize because I know it's not great. It keeps making that loud static sound.
So we're going to talk about low belief. I'm going to make sure y'all can, my board setup's not the best. Is that getting off the screen? Okay. So we have low belief behaviors and high belief behaviors. When you're in low belief behaviors, you're believing a story or a thought about your business that is not serving you. It is going to negatively impact you. It's going to make you feel a certain way with a negative connotation. Your emotional state becomes altered. It directly impacts your desires to show up and take action.
Okay, this is very interesting. She's saying that if you're thinking negatively about your business, that's a low belief. Let's talk about what they think is negative. Logic. They think being logical is negative. Let me give you an example. I've spent $300 and I haven't even made it back, even though they said I was going to. And I really need to make that money back because I promised my spouse. Also, I'm having to spend more money and people aren't purchasing. And when they are, I'm making a teeny tiny bit of commission, but I'm not profiting. This might not be the best idea. They're going to say, low belief, you're negative. You're negative. It's your fault that you're not successful. No, that's not true. You can work as hard as possible, like I said earlier, and still not be successful because that's how multi-level marketing companies work. They get saturated pretty quickly. What doesn't shock me anymore, but used to, is when they think that being logical and going, maybe this isn't the best idea, is just being negative and low belief. It's not. They also call us bullies for criticizing them and their manipulation. That's not bullying, hun.
You may not show up and take action at all, or you may take action with your heart and mind in the wrong place. And most people are clueless that they're taking action from a low belief state. Then they wonder why they don't have the results that they want. So it's important to understand your low belief behaviors so you can catch yourself before it completely derails your results. And when we get to the activity, that's one of the things we're going to be doing. But I want you to understand these are when we're showing up in a belief that's not serving us, and it's going to directly impact my results. I'm going to walk you through that in just a minute. But before I do that, I want you to understand too, we all have, I call it the thought creation cycle. It kind of depends on who you're talking to, which kind of coach you're talking to. It can be called the thought cycle. It can be called the creation cycle. I've always called it the thought creation cycle. So basically it works like this, and it literally works like this for any area of your life. It's a really powerful tool. So we have a belief. That belief triggers an emotion. I think I can adjust this a little bit. That emotion makes us behave a certain way. And that behavior has a result tied to it. Then that result usually confirms the belief. So I'm going to walk you through this, okay? The belief can also be a story or a thought we're telling ourselves. If you were at Palooza training, the belief could also be a racket that you're holding on to, okay? Because a racket is a belief about something. So we have this belief. Let's say I have low or no sales. That's the belief I'm holding on to, is like, I have a hard time making sales.
Well, I mean, she's acting as though that's not reality, right? It's like maybe someone does have a hard time making sales, or maybe someone is not making sales very well. Like they just don't have sales. That's like their business isn't working. They put in everything. They put everything into it. It's still not working. That's not just having a quote unquote belief about something. That's a reality. But they're acting as though, oh, it's your belief. It's not true. It's your belief, and that's why you are failing. What the heck is up with that logic?
Okay. It's hard for me to make sales. Nobody wants to buy from me. Something along those lines. If I start thinking like, nobody wants to buy from me, what kind of emotion does that stir up? Probably a negative one of some sort. Shameful, guilty. There's some sort of negative emotion that it's making me feel hopeless. Maybe I want to give up. So that emotion is making me behave a certain way. It either makes me show up with my heart in the wrong place. So maybe I'm like slapping up a post because I feel like I have to, or I don't even show up today because I feel like, what's the point? Nobody wants to buy from me. And that makes me feel hopeless. So I'm not going to do anything about it. And then what results do I have? I have the exact results I think I'm going to have. Nobody's buying from me because I'm not showing up. And that just confirms that belief. This is where we get stuck. Okay. Even if you've had success in your business, likely there's an area that you've gotten stuck in this before, whether it's with sales, whether it's with recruiting, whether it's like, I feel like I had one of these thought cycles about Instagram before I dove into it. Like I said, Instagram was hard, and I ran a cycle on myself about Instagram being hard, but it was literally just the story I was telling myself. You are always creating your results. Always, always, always. With this. Now I want you to ask yourself, do you like the results that you're creating? Okay, we're going to move. Let me go to my next note page here.
Again, what she's doing is she's putting the result of the person on the person. Not the fact that the majority of people at MLMs won't make money, because that's how multi-level marketing companies work. That's like the business model. She's saying, no, it really is all your fault. But it's not. And that's a terrible thing to do to people, especially people who are vulnerable, and make them feel guilty, shameful. It's so gross how she is putting this all on them, when the reality is, no matter how hard you try, you probably won't profit. Or if you profit, you probably won't make much. It's a vicious cycle, but it's also the truth. And the way that she's doing this is awful, because it's all about guilt and shame. It's all about, you did this to yourself. But that's not true. This is such a bummer for people watching, because if they are experiencing this, she's like, yeah, that's your fault. That's your issue. What? No, they could be putting in every effort possible, but it's just not going to work for them, because it's not going to. Like, logic says, facts say, this isn't going to work for you no matter how hard you try, for 99, 98% of people. I mean, it's such a bummer, like, for people to hear her and go, yeah, it's my fault. It's my fault. It's all me. Even though they're staying up super late working, they have a full-time job, they're also coming home and doing this, they're missing family time, they're getting on every training, and guess what? They're not getting paid for any of it. Awful.
Okay, so this thought cycle right here, I'm gonna actually take it through an example before we go on to our activity. So here's the thought. No one wants this. No one wants this product. No one wants to buy from me. We're going back to that thought. This time, instead of making the circle, I'm just going to go down, but it's the same thing. Here's the thought or belief. Here's the emotion, hopeless.
I want to talk about something really quick that just came across my mind. They like to say, okay, so it's your fault, right, that nothing's working, that you're just probably not doing it right. They feel guilt and shame. And then things change, and a lot of times, this is what I see, okay? This is anecdotal. This is my experience. This is what I see. They change to become more deceptive. That person who's not having a good experience, who is not being successful, instead of just being like honest and genuine, they change and become more deceptive. And then they see a little success, right? They're able to get a few more people in because they're not being upfront and honest about everything, right? They're saying you could really bring a good income in from this, when before they were showing the income disclosure statement, or these products have helped my depression, when before they didn't say that, because that's not true. That's a medical claim and you're not supposed to do that. They become more deceptive, and sometimes they see better results, which is sad that you have to do that you literally have to deceive people to see better results. That just says everything about the company and the products and the people. But I feel like that's the culture of what the company wants, and it always usually goes back to the company.
What does it make me do? The action or the non-action I take? I don't post. I only post sometimes. I don't talk about it. And then what is my results? Low or no sales. The stories that we tell ourselves right here is what determines our actions, and it's what determines our results. So when we start having no results, it could be, again, no results in recruiting, no results in sales, or low results, or maybe you were highly successful there for a while and now you're really struggling. And we start thinking, oh, I need to modify my behavior. I need to modify my behavior to fix my low or no sales. So I need to post more. I need to post more often. I need to show up more. I need to do more things. I need to do all this, X, Y, and Z. But you're still holding on to that detrimental belief and this makes you miserable. If you're holding on to this belief, but you're like trying to show up and do all the things to try to fix this outcome, but you're never addressing this belief, that's when you end up stuck and feeling like burnt out and can't get yourself picked back up.
The issue with this is now, first off, most people really don't want it. Most people don't want it. When you give it to them truthfully, when you're deceptive, things change because they think it's one thing and it's not. She wants people to lie to themselves, is what I'm picking up. Don't tell yourself no one wants this. But if their experience is that no one has really wanted it when they're being honest, then that's true. And then you say, okay, let's change, let's do better, let's be this way. They become more deceptive. They're like, oh, wait, people want what I'm saying it is. Now, that I'm lying and being deceptive. Or partial truths, right? They like to do that. Partial truths, okay? That's their thing. I'm not completely lying. Sometimes they do completely lie, though, just straight up. But a lot of times it's like a partial truth kind of thing. So, yeah. Just wants people to lie to themselves.
So fixing our limiting beliefs is the only thing that fixes no sales or no recruits, okay? And this company is so phenomenal. We have so many tools in our toolbox. We know the what and the how. We get that a lot. And we do get some of the why. But I feel like sometimes we just need to hear it in a different way for it to click. So maybe this is the night that it clicks for you. But when you try to force the outcome right here, like I start trying to do all of the things to try to force this outcome, it actually puts me into a scarcity mindset, and it affects the way that I show up.
When I hear scarcity mindset, I want to vom. They love to use that. You're a scarcity mindset. No, it's reality, babe. It's reality. I'm not making money. They do not want you to stop and think. They want thought-stopping things. They're like, oh, no, that's scarcity mindset. Stop. Oh, no, this is what you're doing. Stop. You got to change your mind positive. Change your mind positive. Because they're going to label that's negative. Boop. They're going to label logic and reality as negative. When your logic and reality is facts show that most people don't make money. And your reality is, I'm not making money. They're going to say, oh, negative. Boop. Change it. Scarcity mindset. Fix it. Wow. I mean, Cult 101, to be honest.
Okay, so we're gonna go on to the exercise. I'm gonna move this out of the way so I can sit back in front of the camera.
The exercise has like 3 minutes of like silent time and stuff, so I'm going to like skip through that. I mean, I'm not going to skip through what she says and when they talk and whatnot, but I am going to skip through like those 3 minutes of silence because why?
So this is where you're gonna need your notebook or your paper or whatever you're using. Okay. So first, I actually am going to take you through your high belief behaviors, okay? Because I want you to pull in on the positive, and then we're going to look at where your low belief behaviors are. So high belief behaviors are the opposite end of the low belief. These are the stories or thoughts that are serving you, that do serve you, and they make a direct positive impact on your desire to take action and show up. When you're operating with high belief, you are creating results and you're doing work that will get you to your goals. So we could also say when we're in high belief, we're in abundance mindset, because I know that verbiage is familiar to y'all. When we're in high belief, we're in an abundance mindset. So the first thing I want you to do with your high belief behaviors, I want you.
Just because you're in an abundance mindset doesn't mean you're making an abundance of anything or an abundance of money per se, or an abundance of whatever. Just because you force yourself to be in an abundance mindset doesn't mean your reality is abundance. And that's what they like to push. If you're in an abundance mindset, things are going to change for you. Money's going to come. People are going to come. If you put in the work, wrong and wrong.
Just list all the actions you take when your belief is high. Okay? List all the actions you take when your belief is high. Examples could be I reach out and connect with others. I make offers. I show my face on social media. I show up with high energy. I follow up with customers, any of those. When you feel like you've been on top of your A game and your belief is high, you're rocking and rolling, how do you show up? Think about those actions and write them down. You have these written down as a reflection for you. I don't know if I kind of want to open it up for just like maybe 1 or 2 people if anybody would like to share. Like, I would love to hear what actions you take when you're showing up in your high belief and what emotions are present for you. Oh, Pam shared in the comments. So she said she reaches out to more people, shares the opportunity more, follows up. I share how I can help solve others' problems. I show up more positively. I have more confidence in my company, my products, myself, and that makes her not afraid of the no's. Thank you, Pam. Okay, Kate. She raised.
Hi. I really love this. I go live confidently. Like, I know that my lives are way more engaging and I'm able to offer value. I reach out to prospects and I offer the opportunity like it's going out of style. And I also fuel my body right and I move my body more when I'm operating this way. I create tons of content. My sales are awesome. I'm super high energy. And I reach out to my team because I feel confident as a leader. And my emotions, I connect to it is I feel confident. I feel unstoppable. I feel powerful, influential, and connected.
Thank you. I love it. I love how you pointed out too, like the healthy part of your body, like taking care of yourself also helps you show up that way. Thank you. Okay, Angel.
Yeah, hi. I love this as well. I offer the opportunity more. I create more. This one was really hit me when I wrote it down, is that I get loud and I get proud. And that's something that just when I wrote it, I was like, yeah, like that's like the missing key sometimes for that, like people can see through that if not that you always have to be loud and proud, but it just that one hit me really hard tonight. I take more action-based steps. And my emotions that are connected to all of that and how I feel is I'm empowered, I feel ready and determined. I'm strong and I'm accessible to my team, accessible to my interpersonal relationships, and just more accessible in general. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. Thanks for sharing. So I think I lost my train of thought for a second. Sorry. Sometimes I do that really bad because I got distracted by the hand raising thingy. I was trying to make it disappear. Anyways, okay. So what we're going to do now is move on to the low belief, but I want you make sure that either if you like wrote really sloppy notes and you want to rewrite it, it's fine, but you're going to keep these high beliefs and low, but specifically the high. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but let's move on to the low belief behaviors. So these are when you're believing a story, or you can call it a racket, that is not serving you, okay? And it's going to negatively impact you. So we're going to walk through the same stuff with that. I want you to list all the actions, and in this case, the non-actions. So your actions or non-actions that you take when your belief is low. Some examples, if you need examples, is like I compare myself to others. I scroll social media. I buffer with activities like podcasts or making graphics. A buffer is like when we do something else instead of the like income producing activity we should be doing. Not that podcasts are bad if you set a time for that, but if you know you're supposed to be doing something else and you like start watching a podcast for 45 minutes because you were like, I'm not motivated, let me get myself motivated, you just buffered and wasted 45 minutes. So that could be one of them. It could be I slap up a post out of obligation. Anything that all of your actions and non-actions when you're in low belief. So I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes and give y'all that. Okay, so y'all, the 2 minutes is up on that. So next I want you to go into the what emotions are present for me when I engage in these behaviors. So when you're in these low belief actions or non-actions, what emotions does that stir up for you? And I'll give us just about a minute and a half here. Time is now up, and I'm going to have a couple people come on and share if y'all will again. But I kind of have been walking through my own thoughts with this. I've done this before, but I wanted to do it again. And I realized something that was kind of a aha moment for me. When I'm in low belief, I avoid my green room. Can anyone else relate to that? I wrote that down, like it was the first thing I wrote down, and I was like, why have I not ever thought about that before? Anyway, Morgan has shared, compare myself, I scroll social media, I have to do housework first, I post just to post without my heart, I get easily distracted, I don't show up consistently, I avoid, I don't feel satisfied, I'm ashamed, I feel like I failed my family. Those are some strong feelings too. Thank you, Morgan, for being honest there.
That is so sad. A side business should never make you feel this way. And a lot of what they said, I'm just like, oh, that's sad. Like this is a side business, they like to say, or this is like a job. It should not do these kinds of things to you. It should not make you feel like you failed your family if you have a bad day. They, in my opinion, use emotional manipulation a lot, and I feel like they make it all or nothing. That's one of the biggest issues I see is they make it all or nothing. You're either all in or all out. You're either a failure or a winner. It's like, no and no. Like, that's not true. You're not a failure or a winner. How do you even measure that in MLMs? I mean, I guess it is the income disclosure statement, like where are they in the ranks? But then that'd mean only 1 or 2% of people are quote unquote winners. Even then, less than 1% are usually what you would consider successful or a winner. But it's so sad that people feel that way for an MLM, for a multi-level marketing company, for something that's supposed to be like in the back of your mind, and you're supposed to be able to spend more time with your family, do more things, and have a freer life. But in reality, what it's doing is it's emotionally scarring you. Raise your hand if you've been emotionally scarred by an MLM. Me. I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to say me or talk about how they've been emotionally scarred below, because it does. I would love to hear. I want to know. I want people to see, like, a lot of people have experienced that kind of thing below. So please comment. Let us know. Have you been emotionally scarred by an MLM? Yes. Yes, I have.
I'm sure we all can relate to that, because I bet we've all wrote down some pretty strong negative emotions. Would anybody else like to share? You can type it or raise your hand to unmute if you want to.
I'll share. I don't have my camera on because I just did a skincare live, so I'm looking kind of a little crazy. But
So I feel like I have that imposter syndrome going on when I'm in that scarcity mindset, like I'm not worthy, and I make excuses on, why I don't need to show up so consistently. I post very sloppily, like I you said, I just grab anything and just throw it out there, just like, oh, let me just throw this out there, I don't put much thought into that.
You can't say, and this is not against her whatsoever, this is against the leader. And I see this in a lot of MLMs. You can't say posting on Instagram and doing stuff like that is not income producing. And you can't say like it's not like something that you should be doing while also saying like you need to put your heart into it. She's saying like, I don't, put my heart into posting on Instagram. Like I don't spend time at blah, 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 blah. Well, what is it? Are you supposed to spend time thinking about it and putting effort into it and posting, or are you not? Because it's not income producing, right? Is it just me? Like she's talking earlier about posting and stuff and or posting, listening to podcasts, stuff like that. Like that's not work, I guess, essentially like income producing activity, because that's what they would tell us too. However, when you post, you need to put your heart into it and put effort into it and blah, blah, blah. What is it? Should I or should I not? Goodness gracious.
Or just do nothing. I just kind of go into hiding, I guess, right? Witness protection program. I make a whole bunch of content and call it work. I'm like, oh, I'm making content, I'm working, right? And so, yeah, while that is working, like there's a time and a place for that. I don't spend 3, 4, 5 days just making content and never really showing up for my business. I get lost in the scroll hole on all 4 platforms, and I'm very inconsistent, and that makes me feel like I want to give up. I start doubting my worth, and I doubt my abilities to succeed.
Oh my gosh, poor lady. You shouldn't doubt your worth because you scroll for TikTok for a couple hours instead of worked. What? That's awful that people are feeling this way. You should not doubt your self-worth because you scroll TikTok for a little bit longer than you think you should have. Wow. Ugh. Try not to get angry. I'm trying to be like, okay, JulieJo, stay calm, like, relax. But it's just so sad. Like, God, like, it's so sad that these people feel this way. And I know I felt that same way too. God, like imagine sitting there and going, oh my gosh, I've been on TikTok for an hour. I'm not worthy. Like I've failed. I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, no, no, you didn't. I want to know if y'all felt this way. Did you ever feel this way in an MLM? Like, was that like something they pushed? Because it was for us. It was like, like scrolling is not income producing, only do income producing. And then after your income producing activity that you put so much effort into, you should also be doing all of this.
And I feel shameful.
Thank you, Pam, for sharing.
Yeah.
And I feel shameful. Thank you, Pam, for sharing. Thanks. Oh, God.
I can relate to you on some of those too. So I want y'all to think about when you know that your results are 100%, your results are 100% from the stories you tell yourself. And we look at this exercise. It hopefully helps you identify sometimes there's times where you didn't even know you were showing up like that. Sometimes we know it, but sometimes we don't know it. And I want you to use this to save these, especially your high belief behaviors. And I want you to start actively thinking about when you're showing up in low belief. Because remember, we do this subconsciously. So it's going to take thought capturing. It's going to take identifying that.
So funny. Thought capturing. It's thought stopping, babe. Just go ahead and say it. It's not just thought capturing, it's thought stopping. It's like, oh, nope, don't let reality set in. Don't let me use logic. Just go ahead and say thought stopping. Just commit to it.
And I want you to get yourself back into that place of high belief and pull on, like, this is who I am in high belief. I know I show up as her. This is who I am. And that's what I'm going to identify as. I'm no longer identifying in these low belief behaviors that leaves me feeling awful. because that's not who you are. And y'all, if you know me, y'all know I'm faith-based. That's also not who God made you. You're infinitely worthy because you exist. Like nothing else. You're amazing because you exist. He put gifts in you that nobody else has, and the world needs what you have to offer. So when we're like showing up because we're like, I'm not good enough, I'm less than, I doubt that I can do this, I have imposter syndrome, all those things that we struggle with, those are all lies from the enemy, and they're not truths. So I want
Faith manipulation. Thank you. Thank you for bringing faith manipulation to the table, as well as all the bullshit you pulled already. So now, the things that are quote unquote negative, which are also quote unquote logic and reality, are from the devil. Oh, it's Satan, babe. No, it's not.
start capturing those lies and take yourself through that. I don't have the thing behind me anymore. That thought cycle. Our belief impacts our emotions, which impacts our actions, which impacts our results. So if I can capture that belief and change it before it gives me all those negative emotions, because of course if I'm feeling shameful and guilty and doubtful and like I'm an imposter, I am not showing up like I should be showing up. And then my results suck. And then it just keeps me in that vicious cycle. So use this. Don't just like put it away and never think about it again. I wanted to do this tonight because we're pretty much we're right under the last 90 days of the year. Okay. And when we look at business runs, 90 days is a really powerful number. And so I want y'all to use this to push you through these last 90 days. Before I go into that, I'm going to like close up with a couple of things about these last 90 days and staying really consistent. But before I do that, I'm going to give you some truths to adopt. If you're struggling with low belief, you may want to write these truths down. I want you to adopt these truths, and I want you to divorce the low belief. I love the thought of that. I heard that from another coach, like divorce that thought. Done. So no longer here. So divorce the thought and adopt these truths.
Just because you divorce something doesn't mean it's no longer there. Trust me. I watched it happen to my parents. Both of them were still there. Childhood trauma.
You already have influence. You already have influence. You do have value to offer. You can help somebody today. On a day you don't want to show up, because we all know motivation doesn't serve. Like, don't show up for motivation. Motivation comes and goes. But if you're dedicated, on a day you don't want to show up, I want you to adopt the truth of, I can help someone today.
I do not like that people like her, top leaders, whether they mean to or not, take advantage of people who want to help people. They take advantage of people who love people and care so much for people, and they try to put other people first in themselves. They're very selfless people. They take advantage of them and use them for money. In this situation, it's like, you can help someone today. You can. They're going to want you so bad. And if they don't, they're absolutely going to feel like an absolute failure. But you're using them for money. Don't take advantage of people's kindness.
You might not see how you helped them, but you can help someone today. And you do know what to do. Okay? It's what you think and tell yourself. You don't have to write this one down. You do know what to do is the last truth. But it's what you think and tell yourself that makes you think you don't know what to do. You do know what to do. If y'all been around here any amount of time, you know what to do. We have so many resources. If you feel like you need a little bit of training on resources, okay, give yourself an hour tomorrow and go look up a training on sales or recruiting. Like, you can get the how. But tell yourself, I do know what to do. The question is, why am I not doing it? And I think digging into these beliefs has kind of probably answered that for you tonight. I hope you've had an enlightening moment about that. Okay, so I want to go into, before we close out, we're going to close out with prayer here shortly, but I want to talk about
closing out with prayer. You know we love it. The last time I watched a Zoom that closed out with prayer that I remember was Brooke Ashley Banks when she was in Limelife, baby. She actually didn't close in prayer. She stopped and prayed for the anti-MLM people that were on her Zoom. Anyone else remember? I have it in a video of hers that I did.
These last 90 days, and I want to talk about consistency, because sometimes we're good at identifying that we don't have consistency, and sometimes we think we're consistent when we're actually not. And when it comes to, if you're like, okay, I know this is quarter 4, holiday season's around the corner. I know November and December are going to be huge for me, or going to be huge in the sales world. It's a big time of year for us, and I'm going to be really consistent for the rest of this year. What happens to probably 80% of people is around day 14, day 21, it fizzles. It fizzles out, kind of fizzles out until Black Friday sale rolls along, and then you're like trying to scramble and get it back together, and then you wonder why your sales aren't as great as you thought they would be, because we've got to build momentum now. And so I want you to go into the rest of this quarter knowing in 14 days, I'm probably going to hit a struggle bus. At 21 days, I'm probably going to hit a struggle bus. Like,
it's so interesting to me. It's like in 14 days, I'm in a struggle bus. Well, it's like if they've spent $300, right, to update their business or whatever, let's say that, and they haven't made any money in 14 days, like they're putting in so much work and making no money. It's not just a struggle bus. That's reality. Maybe they shouldn't do it. The same with 21 days. It's like, she's pretty much saying, in my opinion, if you get to 21 days and you haven't made money and haven't got a team, keep pushing. You're going to run out of money. You're going to put yourself in more debt. I don't like how they switch narratives. Like, they try to set up a narrative that puts all the shit on the person in the bottom, and it's nobody's fault but their own, and reality and logic shouldn't be used because they're negative. If your reality is negative and the logic seems negative in an MLM, the MLM is the issue. Okay? It's not you. You're not being negative. If you're taking a moment and going, okay, what's my reality? Like, what's going on? Is this worth it? It's not. Because you're going to realize when you leave, they're all going to unfollow you, or the majority. They're going to talk shit about you. And you're still not going to have made money. And you went through all of that for nothing.
Just kind of map out, you're going to hit a struggle bus, and have a backup plan. How are you going to stay consistent when life happens? Because I hear it a lot too, like, well, when our activities slow down, I plan on picking my business back up, or like when my husband's health is a little bit better, I'll pick my business back up. And obviously those are all up to the individual, but I hear this from people who really want the business. So you have to realize it's not when XYZ happens.
But yeah, it is. Yeah, you should not pressure someone whose husband is sick to start the business. No, they've got other priorities, and your business, your whatever you want to call it, your bullshit scam, that's what I'd like to call it. They don't need that. They're stressed probably. I can imagine my spouse being sick. I'd be devastated. If they're going through a really difficult time, my husband, I couldn't imagine. I would be devastated. And the MLM definitely is not going to help me.
Then this will happen. I have to make it happen, and I have to have a backup plan for when life happens to me, because something's going to happen. Something between now and Christmas. Your kids are going to catch the flu. You're going to have your car break down, and something's going to happen.
Could you imagine having to work every day or 6 days a week, and if someone gets sick or someone gets really hurt, doesn't matter, you should still work? And guess what? You don't get paid for that work either. Imagine that. That's the reality. Your kids have the flu? Oh, you should still work that day. Figure it out. That shouldn't be a roadblock. Yeah, that's what they push a lot of the time. And it's bad.
It's life. So let's have a plan for when it does. And how are you going to show up when you're not motivated? How are you going to show up when something does happen? Just have a plan for that and commit. Okay? Commit to yourself. If you've never committed successfully in this business, if you're like, I don't know, I'm going to say I'm going to commit, but my belief is I'm actually not going to do it because I've broken integrity with myself so many times. If you don't have a commitment experience to draw from in your business, think of something in your life that you have committed to that you carry through to the end and draw from that. If you've committed to, you know, a sports journey or like sports in school, making some sort of team, if you've committed to completing a degree, if you've anything you've committed to that you've completed, a health journey, something that you feel like I did that, like I went all in and I did that well, pull off of that and use that positive experience to use as a feeling to drive your commitment here. Let's see. Along the way, we've talked about small wins before, but there's another way to think of it too. Your non-paycheck victories. Non-paycheck victories. Along the way for the next 90 days, you may not see a huge October paycheck. Getting really consistent right now is not going to show up for you till November and December, most likely. Okay? So if I get really consistent now and my October paycheck's not what I thought it was, if I let that derail me, then guess what? I'm never going to see anything. But if I use that consistency, or if I use my non-paycheck victories, maybe I've made more connections, maybe I've gotten new followers.
The reason you do this stuff is for money. There's no non-paycheck victories. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. You're doing this to make money. You want to make money. And the thing is, if you're not making money, you shouldn't be doing it. Straight up. A lot of times with scams, even if you're making money, you shouldn't be doing it because you're hurting people. But no, there's no non-paycheck victories in MLMs. No, absolutely not. You got more followers, so you're still not making money. But she's going to try to paint all the victories that there are that are not MLM, that are not money victories, so that you'll stay and go, oh, but there's a victory. Oh, I've had 5 victories this week. None of them have been money related. But victories, I've gotten new followers, I've gotten the most likes on a post, blah, 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 blah. It's not a victory. That's a curtain to hide whatever the fuck's behind it, which is a scam, in my opinion.
Maybe I have shown up more for myself. I've done more lives, whatever my non-paycheck victories, whatever I want to track. I use those to keep driving me because eventually the paycheck will show for you. And remember, you have to earn people's trust before you earn their money. Okay? You have to earn people's trust before you earn their money. I have one more thing off of this one that I wanted. I have so many notes everywhere. I've like become a note-taking machine lately.
I don't know if you saw me trying to calculate you have to earn people's trust before you earn their money. I was just trying to let it process. The whole goal of you talking to someone, of you trying to get their trust is to get their money. That checks out. That's right. When you break it down what they're saying, you go, wait a minute. Time out. Process it.
Yeah. And depending on how consistent you've been prior to right now is going to depend on how much you have to warm up your audience again. Okay. So go into the next 90 days. It's really a little bit less than 90 days now. Just being really consistent, dedicate yourself. Know that motivation's you're going to have days you really don't want to do it. Show up anyway. Know your plan for those days that you're like, I know one of these days I'm not going to want to put my clothes on. I'm going to want to stay in my pajamas all day long. I'm going to watch my Netflix show all day long. But my backup plan is for 1 hour that day, I will do this. Like, for 1 hour, I'm committing. Whatever you want to do, but have your plan and commit. I think some other cool things that I have been reading about is Instagram is a cold market strategy, if y'all don't know that. Like Facebook tends to be a little bit more warm market. Instagram tends to be really cold market, especially as you are like getting in reels and trying to attract a target audience, also called your niche. I'm not going to get into all that on here, but it's a cold market strategy. It takes 60 to 90 days to typically take someone from cold to sold. So if you start not showing up for yourself after a month because
goal is always to get their money. Always the goal. Not friendship, not anything. Other than, I want you to buy my product. I want you to join my business so I can make money off of you. Not because it's going to help you, but because it's going to help me.
You haven't seen results, you're never going to get to that place because it takes 60 to 90 days to get them from cold to sold. So anyway, I wanted y'all to reflect on that, reflect on your non-paycheck victories as we're going into this fourth quarter, because I promise if you commit now, if you have your daily actions that you're going to do this every day, doesn't matter what my belief is, this is what I'm doing, non-negotiables. And when I say every day, I don't mean you can't take every day is Monday through Friday. If you really wanted to set your business up Monday through Friday, my daily tasks are here and I take the weekends off. The weekends are just for fun on social and I'm not doing like IPAs, then you could that's like the best practice scenario. And I think you totally should do that. That's how I've started running my business. But anyways, if you commit to those 90 days of showing up 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and get your stuff done and just be very consistent, no matter what your belief is, no matter if you feel motivated, you're going to see huge things happen. Huge things are going to happen for you in November and December. How do you come up with your backup plan? Okay. IPA. An IPA is an income producing activity. And you can find those all over the place. That would be like customer follow-ups. It's those specific things. You can Google IPAs and get ideas. But essentially, you could set your timer for an hour every day, Monday through Friday, and specifically work only on IPAs. Don't get lost in a scroll hole. Don't start doing other things. Don't buffer with a podcast. You do these things for 1 hour, and you're going to build up so much momentum. I just did that, and I told my network weekends are free for all if I go live. Yeah. So I think it's a great idea. Like, protect your time and have a time for rest. Because I also see people who, like, every day they keep breaking integrity.
The issue with that is they train you in a way that if you rest, you feel bad for resting. I hope I'm speaking loud enough. Sorry, y'all, if it's too quiet. I'm kind of far from my mic, but they make you feel bad for resting. She's going to say, take a rest. But also, is it income producing? No. Yeah, they make you feel bad for resting. Even if they tell you to take a rest. Oh, this sticker ruined everything. Let's keep going. Almost done.
On what they say they're going to do for their business. So every day they think they're playing catch up and they never allow themselves to rest. And when you never allow yourself to rest, you get burnt out. And then it's hard to pick up again. So it's really important to schedule this out and do what you say you're going to do. There is a kid at my door. That way you can preserve your time and energy, and you need a time for rest too. I wanted to know ideas for backup plans. So a backup plan is going to look really specific to you, but it would be like when I'm having a really great week and I'm showing up as my best self, I know I'm going to do a live on, let's just say I'm going to do my live on Tuesday and Thursday. I have a reel posted for every single day. I have a reel planned, content prepped for every single day of the week. I'm going to get my reel posted. My stories never run out. Those are just some things like I do, okay? So my backup plan would be like, if life happens, okay, last week I got sick. I got super sick. Life happened. It knocked me on my butt. Y'all can probably still hear from my voice. If I didn't have a backup plan, that could have made me not show up the whole week because I felt awful and I was barely making it through the day. And I still work full-time as a school counselor. So hold on, baby, I'm almost done. Go out. I'm almost done. If I wouldn't have had the backup plan, I could have let that just made me not show up. My backup plan was my reels were pre-created. I did them on Sunday, luckily before I got sick. So I could still post those no matter what. I knew I wasn't going to have a live done, so therefore I just kind of planned out some better content posts. But I didn't let it not let me show up. Does that make sense? Does that help? It's just kind of like, I know even if XYZ happens,
Imagine being forced to do social media all the time, every week, almost every day. Imagine being forced to do that, because if not, you're not going to be successful. That's kind of their view on it. If you don't do social media, like that's the best way to be successful in MLM is to use social media. Like most people who are successful in MLMs, either one got in the 80s or 90s, or two used social media and also likely got in early anyway when the company was started. But imagine that's exhausting. That's exhausting to have to do social media every day. That you can't really like take a step back. You know, it's It's exhausting. When I stopped my MLM stuff, I took a lot of time off social media. It was awesome. Of course, I was mentally unwell and I was in a horrible place, but I didn't feel bad for not posting my entire day on social media. My every move, my every step type of thing. It's exhausting to feel like you have to show up every day.
Still going to show up at a minimum in this way. Minimally, I'll still get this done. That's kind of what your backup plan is. Does anybody else have any questions? Or Kendall, did you need to add anything before we go to prayer?
No, you nailed it. This was awesome. My mind's like spinning.
I know I filled y'all with a lot of info, and sometimes my delivery is not the best, y'all. I get like scatterbrained, so hopefully it all came through really well. All right, so we'll move into prayer requests now.
We will not be watching prayer requests. If your job wants you to pray together, leave. Okay? Trust me. You might think it sounds good. You really might. You might think that's so awesome and so nice. It's not. It's not. That was that. So I want to hear what you think about that below. It was long. This was a longer video of mine. But I just feel like there were so many moments that you just go, oh, that's so sad. That's got to be exhausting. I want to hear what was your experience in MLM. If you have a horror story, send it my way, like I said. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you for being here. And again, commentary below. Hit the like button if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you want to see more like this. Hit the bell if you want to get notified. I hope you have the most amazing morning, afternoon, evening, and night, wherever you are in the world and whenever you're watching. I'll see you next time.
Show you what I'm all about. Make up for what we lost. Tonight is the night that we're gonna fall in love. I don't care about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about yours.